Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match shorter show on the internet. We've just come back from the London Stadium. No, we didn't. We was indoors, where it was West Ham 1, Lille 1. West Ham won 6-5 on penalties. Was it 6-5? It was 6-5, wasn't it? 6-5 on penalties. Dan, tell me your thoughts. I've got a few thoughts.
For a second, I thought you was going to say, take me through the starting lineup, like the old days when we used to do that.
Why don't we do that? Just for a throwback, take me through the starting lineup.
Yeah, do you know what? The starting lineup...
Actually, this starting from lineup will be interesting today because I expect it to be very much what we start with against Sunderland. So, yes, let's start through. Scott, take me through the starting lineup.
Harry in goal. That's the thing. Like, the starting lineup was very much unchanged, I think, from the Bournemouth starting lineup. Like, you know, we had Areola, we had the back five with Kilman, Todibo and Aguerd. You had the wing backs, Diouf and Wan-Bissaka. And then we had that midfield of Potts, Ward-Prowse and Paqueta with Fulkrug and Bowen up top. That five, the 3-5-2.
3-5-2, 5-3-2, I would call it.
5-3-2. Yeah, it was probably more like a 5-3-2, but it was definitely more defensive. And I looked at it, and it just really rang true of how really little business, serious business, that we've done. One new signing in our starting lineup.
Yeah.
You look at Wilson, and Wilson, if he'd have been ready, he would not. He's not in the. He's on the bench. He's a bench player.
Yeah.
Walker Peters had a decent show of himself. He's a bench player. It shows you how little we've strengthened this season. That team, that performance is. And sorry for the people, I'm starting on negative. I'm happy with one. We're going to get to positives. If you're scared of negatives, we'll get to it. But that was reminiscent of what we saw last season. Very slow, ponderous team. Was on the back foot for large portions of the game. Really weak against the press. And what can we really expect? Because it's near enough the same team. Where's the spark? Where's the energy? We've got Diouf in there. I thought Diouf played really well. Ward-Prowse, I'll give Ward-Prowse this. Like, I don't think he should be starting. But that's been his best performance of pre-season. He got himself about a bit. So, for Potts and Paqueta, they struggled at times. But Ward-Prowse gave a good count himself. Still should not be starting in our starting 11. Overall, mate, I don't know what you think. Like, I'm worried looking at that team, thinking we've still got a lot of work to do in this window.
Yes, that is exactly my sentiments. Exactly. So I sat there. I was excited by Potts. Did he have a good? He done bits. But I think he was let down by. Yes, I do agree in terms of football. Ward-Prowse had a good game. But his mobility is fucking poor, like really poor. Like and it rung true through the midfield for most of the first half and probably most of the second half, because the end of it, we was Rodriguez, Souček, and Ward-Prowse. I don't know how Ward-Prowse kept on. If I'm honest with you, he looked like he's struggling.
He seems to love him.
And I definitely said this. Someone said Potts had no support. Yes, absolutely.
This is about balance, right, Nick? We've talked about balance. And when we saw Potts, Fearon and Paqueta, the way their understanding between each other, the way they pinged the ball between each other, the energy, the liveliness in the midfield was so different. And I think it's about personnel. It's a balance.
Yeah. But it lacks energy, and when we saw it at the end, Souček, Rodriguez, Ward-Prowse, that is worrying. That is worrying because, yes, we've sorted out the goalkeeper problem now. We've got a new goalkeeper in. Yes, we've signed a new wing back, which I don't think was the main priority, but I thought he played well again. But the shining omission for me is the lack of a midfielder. It was so adamant, and I was so adamant that they can't let this happen again next season. They can't go into next season basically with the same midfielders because it is so poor. It is so lack of energy. It is so dormant, to be quite honest with you, when you're in there. And it's worrying. It is fucking worrying because there's, at one point, I'm sure it's Fulkrug. At one point, it was Fulkrug. he run back past the midfield and made a tackle, and the midfield were jogging back, and like that. That's Fulkrug at 32.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
see him
and
screaming
that
at him. Yeah.
it's worrying me. It worries me because yes, Lille are a decent, but they have got 39-year-old. I don't know if he's 39, by the way, but
He's
39-year-old,
38.
38, Olivier Giroud playing up front, starting for them, you know, and scoring. And,
Yeah. What a
you
goal
know,
that was.
it was a fucking great goal, really good goal. You know, the geezer's class. What the defence were doing, I don't know, but they just let him drift in behind them, and they didn't have a fucking clue where he was. But great centre forward play because that's the sort of centre forward he is. But you know, this is the problem with our midfield. You know, it just isn't. It isn't going to get anywhere. You know, and all season I thought the first player we would buy, the first player, was a midfielder, and a good midfielder at that, and a powerful midfielder. And you know, we've got ability in there. I'm not saying that. You know, Souček brings the goals. Ward-Prowse can play a little bit, but in terms of it's fragile. It's fragile. It's slow. It's lethargic. And I think that showed in the first half. You know, the press wasn't there. We really struggled, and in the first half, really, it was a lot of nothing, but from both sides, you know, neither side, neither side were going for it at the beginning. It was just, it looked like a typical pre-season friendly where they were just knocking it to one, knocking it to the other, knocking it to one, knocking it to the other. But you know, when it started to heat up a little bit and the pressure started coming, our midfield is not the one, and I know that's going to upset a few people, but this is reality, you know. And I know we've got a couple of youngsters to come in, but we need something in midfield. Otherwise, we are going to struggle.
Yeah, 100%, mate. You know, I couldn't say it better myself. I was saying it since last season. A few of us were saying it since last season, and we seem to have been so slow to address that. And we're looking at every other position and focusing on it. And I guess the goalkeeper is going to be a big part of it. I think Areola definitely staked a claim and to remind, you know, I can still be this guy. You know, he done really well, 2 amazing saves, get to a penalty shootout. But yeah, it was, yeah, there were worrying signs there. I think overall, when we come to real competitive games of football, the midfield is key, that midfield battle. And when we're coming up against Chelsea's midfield in a couple of weeks, mate,
They're going to run us ragged.
scary.
They're going to run us ragged. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, when I look at the substitutions as well, and he brought on, and I said, when we had that's the midfield that started against Man United, the Ward-Prowse, Souček, Rodriguez. At the end of that game, I said, we can never see that midfield again. There's nothing about it, that midfield. Then we see it come on again against, I think it was either Everton or Bournemouth. I think it was Bournemouth. And then we're seeing it again. And look, fair play. Like you can't grumble too much when you make subs and it results in a goal, right? An equalizer. So fair play. But I have to say, you know, I just don't see why we're still playing Rodriguez. Rodriguez didn't play any part in the goal. I have no problem with bringing Souček off the bench. In fact, I would have been for it because that's exactly what you want him to do. You know what I mean? Get himself a battering ram. You know, hang around the box. Really good. But Rodriguez, if Rodriguez is still here at the end of the transfer window, all these people are saying we're putting him in the shop window. You're going to sit there and ask, well, why did we give him so many minutes in pre-season?
Yeah.
Waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Yeah, he's a waste of time. You know, it is what it is. But I will say this for the positives. Second half was a lot better. You know, the intensity started to come. You know, we started to zip the ball around a little bit more. We've got the wing backs into play. I thought Walker Peters had a decent game. I thought the left back, Diouf, had a decent game. You know, and we started to actually play some football.
Yeah,
which was nice to see.
Even though he didn't score, I thought Bowen was by far our best player today. Like he battled.
That was a nice move. The problem is, you know, at second half especially, Fulkrug was he was good in the air. He was winning a lot in the air. So most of it was a lot of shit. To be quite honest with you, he was knocking it down to no one. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of the transfer window is we need to get players around him. You know, Fulkrug is a good striker, but that has been our our problem when we've played a lone striker with these wingers or, a second striker is that there was no one around him. There's no one getting into the box around him. And I don't think 5-3-2 particularly suits him in terms of the way that we want to play. We need to start to play some 4-3-3 and get wingers around him. But Bowen's meant to be up there with him. And he wasn't getting in and around him. And when he did get in and around him, it was a lovely move and he hit the bar. So, listen, there was negatives today. There was positives. But
one thing is, Nick, you said about us starting the second half better. Isn't that just reminiscent of last season? How many times did we just ghost the first half and then the second half? Well, we're playing better. There's nothing changed in that regard.
The problem, that is what I was getting to, Dan. It doesn't seem like anything has changed. Nothing. There is no. There's a couple of different players in there, but in terms of the attitude and the application, and it's not a pot thing because this has been going on for donkeys. You know what I mean? So, in terms of attitude and application, it's not there in the first half. And when you go into games like Sunderland, are going to hit us from the very fucking start. Yeah. Sunderland, first season back in the Premier League, first season back in the big time after a lot of years. Their fans are going to be up for it. Their players are going to be up for it, and they're going to see West Ham as a game they can really fucking make a statement in. Yeah, I've seen all the pundits this week really tipping these three to go down. And out of the three, Sunderland have been the most ambitious. Sunderland have actually signed a little bit of a little bit of quality in their side. So they're going to be looking at that and thinking, right, well, let's show these fuckers, right? And if we ghost the first half, we could end up 3-4-0 down in the first half with a pumped up Sunderland, especially if they get an early goal. We can't keep on going into games ghosting the first half. We ain't a team that if we go 3-4-0 down, we've got enough tools in our arsenal to come bring it back. And that I think it comes down to the fact that the midfield is so shite. And it is so old and it is so immobile that they were actually waiting for, the later stages of the game where they can actually start turning it on, and they know they can't do it for 90 minutes. They don't want to puff themselves out in the first sort of like 15, 20 minutes. And that is worrying because, do that against Chelsea and Chelsea will fucking destroy us.
Yeah.
Destroy us.
Do you know what? Like I said, I'm going to go on to positive, but just another worry for me, well, not worry, concern is Fearon had a great debut, looked really good. We ain't seen him since, weren't even on the bench today. Yeah. Guilherme, come on against Everton, sharp, quick, direct, exactly what I want to see. Doesn't get a look in ever since.
No.
I don't get it. I just don't get the thought process. Like ever since that Everton game, we see the same subs.
It's because we're playing a 5-3-2.
But the thing is, like, what I don't is that you're losing the game, and like I said, we equalised, so he's validated in that situation. But there is scope to change the formation at, with the subs and change the system up, and maybe go to a 4 at the back and try to add some more bodies in midfield or an attack, and rather than let's just like for like. Because what did we complain with Moyes? Like for like. That was the problem then, and now we're like for like again. It's just same crap, like, that's frustrating for me. I want to see some of these players that have pace, that have energy, that can move the ball around, get more chances and wake us up. Or it's going to be the same boring, flipping football again we're going to see. Somerville, hopefully he's going to come back, and Potter does seem to, well, I don't know, he played in one game, but I should fancy him after that performance. But then where does he fit into this system?
Well, Somerville apparently was going to play a behind closed doors friendly now. So we've got a behind closed doors friendly happening right now, and apparently he was in contention to get in there. So he could be ready by Chelsea or by Forest.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, in terms of the system, where do you play him? Who drops out? Like, is he gonna?
I don't know. But this is if I was not to criticise Potter, I would be unfair because I criticise Moyes for so much. He doesn't seem to be able to change a system. It seems to be that is going to be the system, and that is it. You know what I mean? I could be wrong. He could be waiting for players to come back, and he could be wait until the transfer window's finished. But
maybe
we seem we seem to play the same way every fucking time. So
yeah, and I'm not really a fan of the system.
Somerville do not fucking fit in that system. I'm afraid they don't.
I'm not a big fan of the system. To be honest, I advocated it last season because we played better in that system than we did when we went to a back four last season. But that's because of the tools we had. We should be building to play a more exciting, entertaining brand of football. I looked how Bournemouth played, and yes, they lost in the pre. But after doing everything they could to score, it was their finishing that lacked, and they were exciting to watch. They had intensity. We have no intensity.
That's what we lack. Intensity. Yeah. That's what we.
Yeah. And
so I might just get green screen. Am I in the actual pub? I'm in the pub. Yeah. Absolutely, I'm in the pub.
It's the Boleyn, isn't it?
It's Boleyn, mate. Can't you hear it?
Yeah, he's in the Boleyn. So looking at, I'm not going to fully judge until that window's closed and we see what he's got in, and then what he can do. I'm gonna give him some leeway in that regard. I have to give credit because mentally, like, we came back twice in the game. We came back one to equalize, and then we came back from behind in the penalties after. Yeah, and someone said Fulkrug, the only German that can't take a penalty.
Did he miss last year? I'm sure he missed last year.
Yeah, I think he did. I think that is the second penalty he's missed for us. So yeah, he's not good at penalties, and he took the first one, and scuffed it. And I was, their penalties were spot on. The Lille penalties, every single penalty was spot on. Ours were a lot better after Fulkrug, but I just thought, oh, here we go. And the save, especially the first save that Areola pulled off, where he gets his arm out, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And that is what he can do. That is what he can do. And now he's really got a fire under his arse now, because that goalkeeper is going to be vying for that number one spot. Even Saturday, he's going to be vying for that number one spot.
You see him come in, didn't he? He was there before the start of the game, Hermansen. Ariola's seeing that. When he's got Fotheringham behind him, he's chilled. He's nothing to worry about.
He's not taking my place. But now, he's. So yeah, he needed to do. He done two magnificent, and even a couple of the others he got close to. And they was just good penalties. I don't think you could have, even they couldn't have saved them. So
they had pace and power on them. Do you know what I mean? That's what the penalties were. They were boom. And overall, Areola staked his claim to say, I'm keeping my spot. And that's what we want. That's what we need. Competition. We need two good goalkeepers going at it for the shirt. And we need that in more positions. We need that
in every position. If you want to do anything, you need it in every position.
Yeah. So like I said, I think it's a bit of a luxury. Like I said, I'm so interested to see, like I said, when Somerville comes back, where he's going to play, what he's going to do. But get me that box-to-box midfielder. Get me a lively centre midfielder that can ping the ball around.
Alvarez has still got to come.
Yeah, he was on the bench, but he didn't come on. I thought he would at least got a couple minutes or something,
Yeah.
He could have come on instead of Rodriguez. I know he's played football in with Mexico, but still, I think it's good to
minutes. He needs some minutes. I don't understand that, to be honest. I don't understand why he was.
He's obviously keeping him because he's got was it number 4?
Yeah. He's got number 4.
Yeah, there seems to be it doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to be sold, but it's a good indicator that maybe he's going to be part of the plans next season. But in terms of sales, it just doesn't seem like we're anywhere. Remember when Emerson was left back flew back to England from America a week ago? And what's happened there?
He's cleared out his flat, so he's obviously waiting to move. I reckon that'd be next couple of weeks. I reckon he'd be gone.
But it's just taking a while, isn't it? Like, if he's going to be gone in a couple of weeks, usually you're part of the squad. Yeah. During that process, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see anyone go, well, we're going to sell you. Wait a couple of weeks. We're not going to see you then. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're Isak, who's been shafted out. That's weird. I find that really weird. Rodriguez, we don't know where we're at with his sales. I just don't see us getting much money in terms of selling players. It looks like Mavropanos is going to be part of the plans for next season. I'm not, depending on how we play. I think in a back three, I think Mavropanos I'm more comfortable with. Do you know what I mean? He's got that cover there. He's got that support. He's good in the air.
And you see it today, set up along for crosses. They're decent, right? It's when the ball comes over their heads.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be able to fucking track it.
We are bad in both boxes in the air.
Yeah.
See the set pieces every time.
I think it was a bit better today, set piece wise, winning the set pieces. But
towards the end of the game, we did. But for most of the game, they won every header in the box, right? Especially their box.
It's players getting in behind us that we struggle. We when the ball's coming over the top from long is where we seem to struggle and where we seem to become at 6s and 7s. The ball's being pumped up from the defence, from the other defence. That's where we really seem to struggle. When they're set, and and you would expect three central defenders to be able to set themselves and defend the box quite well. But when it's coming over the top and people running in behind, we really seem to fucking struggle.
Yeah, and that's it, And the thing is, the big positive I had for next season was the youngsters coming through to say, you know what, we've got some quality here and we're going to play. But it's only Potsy's been playing, and it just shows.
And we
some of
Carl Walker Peters in the midfield. Do you know who I would try in the midfield? Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, his relationship and understanding with Bowen is getting really good. Like the two of them together, they work off each other so well, and and that's the one thing you lose. I think on that right with Bowen there, the two of them class. Like Wan-Bissaka as well, putting some really good balls. So you got good balls coming in on the left, you got good balls coming from the right. Crossing wise, I think we're strong. We just need to make sure someone's in there on the end of them.
Diouf looks a real crosser of the ball. He looks like he's one of them early crossers of the ball, which
that's
will come in handy.
Yeah, he almost scored a header as well. I'm looking forward to him getting his goal. Like I said, rather it would be in the league than in pre-season. So like I said, it's just overly. I'm glad pre-season's over now, and we can watch us in a proper game.
That's it. We'll see how we go. But I've got to say, in terms of results, we've had some decent results. I think we've lost one game.
Yeah, I think overall it's been a successful pre-season, right? We only lost the Man United game, which we shot ourselves in the foot on that one. We kind of beat ourselves. No injuries. Yeah, we've seen youngsters get minutes. Overall, I'd say successful pre-season. As pre-seasons go, it's probably one of the better ones.
But it's still evident that the problems are there from last season. And
I just hope he sees it.
Pre-season does mean a fucking thing when that fucking 3:00 next weekend, next Saturday, 3:00 kickoff. That all goes out the window. It doesn't mean a fucking thing. But
this is why I'm really excited pre-season, because we go there Saturday. No one can say it's only pre-season. It's only this. It's only that. No one can say, and the fact that it's against Sunderland, I'm happy as well, because if it was against Liverpool or Man City, people go, it's Liverpool, it's Man City. We can really judge this team, no questions, no excuses. And that's what I'm really looking forward to see where we're really at.
Yep, absolutely.
Hopefully, like I said, we over exceed our expectations. I think expectations in the fan base is quite low at the moment. Hopefully, we see something different and they just switch it on. So we'll see. I kind of expect to see a similar, pretty much the same starting 11. I don't know about you. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Wilson may be on the bench. He was there today. Hermansen may be on the bench as well. He'll probably be on the bench. Fordham, I don't know if we'll get any money for him.
No.
To be honest. I hope so. But yeah, overall, now it's just looking at that transfer window. All eyes on that. We're going to be keeping up to date on that and just really waiting for this midfielder to come in. It looks like Ramsey's not happening because apparently they're looking to sign him, give him a new contract. Villa. He wasn't thrilled about coming. It all sort of hinged on Villa wanting to sell. And the funny thing is, I see this comment and it was really kind of spot on. They said about Will Salthouse, he was supposed to help Ramsey come to West Ham, but all he's done is help Ramsey get a better contract at Villa. We need him to come through for us, and
he doesn't.
He just uses us to get his client a better deal, give himself a little bonus. There you go. That's the guy we've got. We're in his pocket. So
told you, Brown cheap
It's
freebie option. Yeah,
going to be
I'll
interesting.
guarantee it. I guarantee it's going to be
Oh.
Brownhill. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I didn't hear you there. What'd you say? My
I said
sound
Brownhill. Someone said Brownhill, the freebie option.
Oh, if it's Brownhill, mate.
I guarantee it's going to be Brownhill. £100 a week.
Brownhill.
But,
I think Brownhill is a Salthouse client as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If he goes and he flops on getting us Ramsey and he gets us bloody Brownhill, mate, honestly, I will start a petition to fucking get him banned from every fucking football club. Yeah, that's not really. Fernandez is there. I heard someone who watched the Southampton game said he come on and really livened things up for Southampton. They were losing the game to Wrexham.
And then they scored 2 in 90 minutes in the 90th minute. Yeah.
So if it's between him and Brownhill, go get Fernandez. Where's your scouting? Where's your data? Where are the midfielders out there that the profile that we need? Why have we brought in McCauley? Why are we going into the season with only one position improved on? And it weren't even and don't get me wrong, Diouf looks brilliant, but it weren't an emergency if we had Emerson instead of Diouf for right now, and we got Diouf a bit later.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I don't think we're going to get a midfielder in before Sunderland. Not in time to play.
No.
And
look how long it took them to get the goalkeeper over the line. It's going to take a couple of weeks at least, I reckon. And whoever comes in next is going to be the last one. There ain't going to be no more after that.
That's bad, man. That is bad. So we're going to play potentially 2 games with the same team from last season, bar one.
We'll see.
This is what I'm saying.
I'll tell you where you're going to hear all of that news. You're going to hear all of that news here on West Ham Fan TV because we're going to be looking through it all week next week. We're going to be looking through all the starting lineups. We're going to be looking at the likely starting lineups. We're going to rate the players. We're going to be doing the fan cams. We're going to be traveling up to Sunderland doing a vlog there. We're going to be doing a watch along. We're going to be doing everything next week on West Ham Fan TV. So keep it locked here, right here, and don't go anywhere.
Yes. And what we're going to do, by the way, sign up to the memberships because we're going to put out the player ratings later on the members for the whatchamacallums, the cult heroes. That's going to be up there. Go and sign up to the memberships. So but yeah, let us know your thoughts on the game. Are you excited for the season? Are you pessimistic? Let us know. But yes, we're going to have lots of content build up to Sunderland. Excited to have the season back though, regardless whether we're good, shit, indifferent, proper football's back. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say.
Come on, you irons.
You irons.